Hello. start. Okay.
ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಶುಭ ಮಧ್ಯಾಹ್ನ. ನನ್ನ ಹೆಸರು ಶಿಲ್ಪಾ. ನಾನು ಇದೇ ಕಾಲೇಜಿನ BCA ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿನಿ. ಇಂದಿನ 2ನೇ ಸೆಷನ್ನ ಸೆಷನ್ ಚೇರ್ ಆದಂತಹ ಶ್ರೀ GV ಅರುಣಾರವರನ್ನು ಸ್ವಾಗತಿಸುತ್ತೇನೆ. ಶ್ರೀ GV ಅರುಣಾರವರು ಮೆಕ್ಯಾನಿಕಲ್ ಇಂಜಿನಿಯರ್ ಹಾಗೂ MBA ಪದವೀಧರರು. ಭಾರತ ಸರ್ಕಾರದ ಮಿನಿ ನವರತ್ನ ಉದ್ದಿಮೆಯಾದ ಮೆಕಾನ್ ಲಿಮಿಟೆಡ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಟ್ರೇನಿಯಾಗಿ ಸೇರಿ ಪ್ರಧಾನ ಮಹಾಪ್ರಬಂಧಕನಾಗಿ ನಿವೃತ್ತರಾದರು. ರಷ್ಯಾದಲ್ಲಿ ವಿಶೇಷ ತರಬೇತಿ ಪಡೆದಿರುವ ಇವರು ಭಾರೀ ಕಬ್ಬಿಣ, ಉಕ್ಕು ಸ್ಥಾವರಗಳು, ತೈಲ ಮತ್ತು ನೈಸರ್ಗಿಕ ಅನಿಲ ಘಟಕಗಳು, ರಕ್ಷಣಾ ಕ್ಷೇತ್ರ ಹಾಗೂ ಅನೇಕ ಕ್ಷೇತ್ರಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಕಾರ್ಯನಿರ್ವಹಿಸಿದ್ದಾರೆ. CSIR ಆಶ್ರಯದಲ್ಲಿರುವ ಹಲವಾರು ಸಂಶೋಧನಾ ಕೇಂದ್ರಗಳಿಗೆ ಹಾಗೂ ಅನೇಕ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಗಳಿಗೆ ISO ಪ್ರಮಾಣೀಕರಣ ನೀಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. 9,000 ಗುಣಮಟ್ಟ ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆಯ ಸ್ಥಾಪನೆಗೆ ಪ್ರಧಾನ ಸಲಹೆಗಾರರಾಗಿದ್ದರು. ಆಗ ವೈವಿಧ್ಯಮಯ ವೈಜ್ಞಾನಿಕ ವಿಚಾರಗಳ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ವಿಜ್ಞಾನಿಗಳೊಡನೆ ಚರ್ಚೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. 2 ವೈಜ್ಞಾನಿಕ ಪುಸ್ತಕಗಳು ಸೇರಿದಂತೆ 5 ಪುಸ್ತಕಗಳನ್ನು ರಚಿಸಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸಣ್ಣ ಕತೆ, ವೈಜ್ಞಾನಿಕ ಲೇಖನ, ಕವಿತೆ, ಮಕ್ಕಳ ಕತೆ ಹಾಗೂ ಲಲಿತ ಪ್ರಬಂಧಗಳು ಹಲವಾರು ಪತ್ರಿಕೆಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರಕಟವಾಗಿದೆ. ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಇವರ ಲೋಹಗಳ ರಸಯಾತ್ರೆ ಪುಸ್ತಕ ಪ್ರಕಟಣೆಗೆ ಸಿದ್ಧವಾಗಿದೆ. ಹಲವು ಸಾಂಸ್ಕೃತಿಕ ಹಾಗೂ ಸೇವಾ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಗಳ ಆಡಳಿತದಲ್ಲಿ ತೊಡಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಈಗ ನಾನು ಶ್ರೀ GV ಅರುಣಾರವರನ್ನು ಮುಂದಿನ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮವನ್ನು ನಡೆಸಿಕೊಡಬೇಕಾಗಿ ವಿನಂತಿಸಿಕೊಳ್ಳುತ್ತೇನೆ.
Hope all of you have enjoyed the lunch. Those who have not enjoyed the lunch, please raise the hand. Okay, those who have enjoyed, only one. Others have not taken. That's good, good. This present session is a very important session after you have learnt so many things about journalism, about communication, and the link between these two with science. Now, for you to become a science journalist, there are certain important aspects that you have to consider. Most important among them is how do you find the resources for communicating science communication and science journalism. For this, we have a very eminent speaker today. Whom can you expect but a person who has written, translated more than 300 articles for the Azim Premji University and for the Gubbi Labs. And she has given number of talks and in the All India Radio, written innumerable articles in the newspaper. In fact, if you have seen Prajamani about a week back, very important aspect she had covered in one of her articles. She is also a science educator, that is most important, and she is a voiceover artist, so her voice is going to be very, very interesting for you to listen today. She is a theater artist and she is a singer, but these two aspects she may not use to fullest extent now. I request Kshama V. Banu Prakash to come and enlighten us on resources for science communication. Please.
Am I audible? Through the mic? Okay, I can hear myself. Great. So, as I already told you, really don't want to keep repeating the points because most of the points are covered by all the stalwarts and eminent personalities that we have met. Nenne hagu ivattu ತುಂಬ ಸಾಧಕರು ಬಂದಿದ್ದರು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಮಧ್ಯೆ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ನನ್ನ ಗುರುಗಳು ಸುಮಂಗಳ ಮಮ್ಮಿಗಟ್ಟಿ ಮೇಡಮ್ ಆಗಲಿ ನಾಗೇಶ್ ಹೆಗ್ಡೆ ಸರ್ ಆಗಲಿ ಇವರೆಲ್ಲ ನನ್ನ ಗುರುಗಳು ಐವ್ ಲರ್ನ್ಡ್ ಅ ಲಾಟ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ದೆಮ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಸಚ್ ಗ್ರೇಟ್ ಪರ್ಸನಾಲಿಟೀಸ್ ಹಿಯರ್ ಲೈಕ್ MS ಸುರೇಶ್ ಸರ್ ಹಾಗೂ ಅರುಣಾ ಸರ್ ಆಸ್ ವೆಲ್ ಆಸ್ ನಟರಾಜ್ ಸರ್ ನಾಗರಾಜ್ ಸರ್ and a lot of people have influenced me, inspired me, taught me directly, indirectly, and that's why probably I'm here. And I think I really have to stand here and talk to you about science journalism or picking up resources, the best resources, etc. because I have also learnt it very recently. From over a decade now that I've started writing, and I did learn a lot in this journey. I've made my own set of mistakes and learned through it. I've learnt also from others' mistakes. So probably my journey would also help you. Nimgu sahaya agbodu, and I'll also try to stick to the topic as much as possible. And let's keep this interactive. So artha agta idya elrigu, are you able to follow? Yes? Okay, we'll take it forward then. So my topic for today is resources for science communication. ಫಸ್ಟ್ಲಿ ನಿಮ್ಗೆಲ್ರಿಗೂ ಅನ್ನಿಸ್ಬೋದು ನಾನು ಬರಿಬೇಕು ಅದರಲ್ಲೂ ಸೈನ್ಸ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಬರಿಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಅನಿಸಿರಬಹುದು ಬಟ್ ಯು ಮೈಟ್ ನಾಟ್ ಬಿ ವೆರಿ ಶ್ಯೂರ್ ಆಫ್ ವಾಟ್ ಟಾಪಿಕ್ ಶುಡ್ ಐ ಪಿಕ್ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಇಫ್ ಐ ಪಿಕ್ ಅ ಟಾಪಿಕ್ ವೇರ್ ಡು ಐ ಗೆಟ್ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಷನ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಅಫ್ಕೋರ್ಸ್ ಯು ಆಲ್ ನೋ ಇಂಟರ್ನೆಟ್ ಇದೆ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ ಬಟ್ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಯಾವುದು ತಪ್ಪು ಯಾವುದು ವಿಚ್ ಇಸ್ ಸ್ಯೂಡೋಸೈನ್ಸ್ ವಿಚ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಟ್ರೂತ್ ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಮಿತ್ ದೇರ್ ಸೋ ಮಚ್ ಟು ಡಿಸ್ಟಿಂಗ್ವಿಶ್ ಬಿಟ್ವೀನ್ ರೈಟ್ ಸೊ ಅದೆಲ್ಲದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಮಾತಾಡೋಣ. Before I actually begin, I really love to thank everyone who gave me this opportunity so that I can interact with the next me. All of you can probably, start writing and then you will also experience all that I've experienced. It's a great opportunity for you to be here and learn from the stalwarts. I also learnt a lot in this, all the previous sessions. I'm sure you also did. So we'll try to learn more now by interacting. Sir. So firstly, a very famous image I would like to start with. What is science? Oh, okay. So what is science communication ಅಂತ ನೆನ್ನೆನೂ ಸುಮಾರು ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅವರವರ ಟಾಕ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಸೈನ್ಸ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಏನು ಸೈನ್ಸ್ ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಕೇಷನ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಏನು ಐ ಆಮ್ ನಾಟ್ ಗೋನ್ ಡಿಫೈನ್ ಇಟ್ ಬಟ್ ದಿಸ್ ಪಿಕ್ಚರ್ ಪ್ರಿಟಿ ಮಚ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೇನ್ಸ್ ಇಟ್ ರೈಟ್ ಸೈಂಟಿಸ್ಟ್ ಏನೋ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ ದೇ ಟಾಕಿಂಗ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ಆ್ಯಪಲ್ಸ್ but what laymen understand is oranges, right? There's in fact, I can't say there's huge difference. It's absolutely not what is happening there. It's absolutely a different aspect here, correct? There's no point at all. If communication is like this, there's no point at all. If we do something, there is ಏನೋ ಒಂದು ಉದ್ದೇಶ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಆ ಉದ್ದೇಶ ಸಾರ್ಥಕವಾದರೆ ಮಾತ್ರ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಕ್ಕೊಂದು ಬೆಲೆ. You want to communicate science, and if it is communicated like this, there's no point in it. So we should ensure it's not going to be like this. Okay, a very famous image again. And idakinta innond famous image is coming up. Sorry. A very famous image now. I think yesterday 1,000 crores reach adru KGF movie. I'm not going to say whether it's a good movie, bad movie, ithra movie nodbeka, nodbarda, pan India or not. That's not the point here. The point is, this is very famous. So it reached people, right? It is reaching in the right way or wrong way, it is reaching people, a lot of people. So reachability is very important, okay? So from this picture and the previous picture, you can learn something. What is that? Let's look at that. Okay. From the first image and the second image, what science communication shouldn't be and what all it should contain if it has to be successful, I think these are the points according to me. Everything starts with a one-liner. Do you agree? Do you agree? ಖಂಡಿತ ಅಲ್ವಾ ಅದು ಒಂದು ಸೈನ್ಸ್ ಒಂದು ಆರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು ಒಂದು ಪುಸ್ತಕ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು ಒಂದು ಸಿನಿಮಾ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು ಇಟ್ ಆಲ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ವಿತ್ ಒನ್ ಲೈನರ್ ರೈಟ್ ಸೊ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಬಿ ವೆರಿ ಕೇರ್ಫುಲ್ ವಿತ್ ವಾಟ್ ಯು ಚೂಸ್ ದೇರ್ okay, and around that you go around building in information and building in stories. Okay, stories are very, very important if you have to communicate something. Right? Yesterday we had a session on video, how videos are great tools in communicating. Alva? Baravanige kuda haudu. Podcasts, also listening to it and learning, yes, because navella onde tara learners alla. Being an educator, being a teacher, I know this really well. All my students don't understand if I stand there and keep lecturing. I have to show them videos, I have to show them images, I have to make them involved in a lot of activities. Correct? ಸೊ ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಥರ ಲರ್ನರ್ಸ್ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ. ಕೆಲವು ವಿಡಿಯೋಸ್ ಮೂಲಕ ವಿಜುವಲಿ ಕಲಿತಾರೆ, ಕೆಲವರು ಆ್ಯಕ್ಟಿವಿಟೀಸ್ ಹ್ಯಾಂಡ್ಸ್ ಆನ್ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಟಿವಿಟಿಯಿಂದ ಕಲಿತಾರೆ. ಅದೇ ಥರ ಓದುಗರು ಕೂಡ, ಆರ್ ಲಿಸ್ನರ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ವ್ಯೂವರ್ಸ್, ದೇ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ದೇರ್ ಓನ್ ವೇ ಆಫ್ ಲರ್ನಿಂಗ್, ವೇ ಆಫ್ ಕನೆಕ್ಟಿಂಗ್, ವೇ ಆಫ್ ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡಿಂಗ್. ಸೊ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಮೀಟ್ everyone's need. You have to cater to everyone's need. Only then you can effectively communicate what you want to. Okay? So everything starts with a one-liner. Probably ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಒಂದು ಐಡಿಯಾ ಬಂತಲ್ಲ, ನಾನು ಇದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಬರಿಬೇಕು ಅಂತ, that's your one-liner. And then what next? Build a story around it, as we already discussed. ಎಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಫೋಕ್ಲೋರ್ಸು, ಎಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಕಥೆಗಳು ನಾವು ದಿನನಿತ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಕೇಳ್ತಾನೆ ಇರ್ತೀವಿ, ಓದ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತೀವಿ. ನಮ್ಮ ಮನೇಲಿ ಅಜ್ಜಿಯರು, ಅಮ್ಮಂದರು, they'll keep, entertaining us, also giving us knowledge through stories. Who wouldn't enjoy a story? Just before me, Nagesh Hegde sir ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು, ನಂದು ಸ್ಟೋರಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ನಾನೊಂದು ಕತೆ ಹೇಳಲ್ಲ ನಿಮಗೆ. Everyone were ready to listen to it, right? Because we all love stories. So you have to build a story around your one-liner. Through that, disseminate information pertaining to science. Also, interdisciplinary approach. This is also very important. Actually, majority of you, according to what I understood, ನೆನ್ನೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಜೊತೆ ಇಂಟರಾಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ನಂಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಯಿತು, ನಾಟ್ ಎವ್ರಿ ಒನ್ ಇಸ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಸೈನ್ಸ್ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ಗ್ರೌಂಡ್, ರೈಟ್? ಸೊ ಐ ವಿಲ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಎನ್ಶೋರ್ ಐ ಟಾಕ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ವೇರಿಯಸ್ ಅದರ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ, ಹ್ಯುಮ್ಯಾನಿಟೀಸ್ ಆರ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಮ್ಯಾಥ್ ಆರ್ ವೇರಿಯಸ್ ಅದರ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ. ಸೊ ಈ ಇಂಟರ್ಡಿಸಿಪ್ಲಿನರಿ ಅಪ್ರೋಚ್ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಆರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ಗಿದ್ರೆ, ಅಥವಾ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಪಾಡ್ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ಗಿದ್ರೆ, ಅಥವಾ ನಿಮ್ಮ ವಿಡಿಯೋಗಿದ್ರೆ, you can reach maximum people. Okay? And then bring in many dimensions. Not everyone is having so much of experience. ಈಗ ಇಲ್ಲಿರೋ ರಿಸೋರ್ಸ್ ಪರ್ಸನ್ಸ್ ಥರ ನನಗೆ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಇರಲ್ಲ, ಅವ್ರ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸ್ ನನ್ನ ಏಜ್ಗಿಂತ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇದ್ರೂ, ಬಟ್ ಐ ಡೂ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಮೈ ಓನ್ ಸೆಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸಸ್ ಬೇಸ್ಡ್ ಆನ್ ಮೈ ಓನ್ ಲಿವಿಂಗ್. ನನ್ನ ಕಲಿಕೆ, ನನ್ನ ಜೀವನದ ಅನುಭವಗಳು ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಲೈಕ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಆಲ್ ಆಫ್ ಯು ವಿಲ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್, ರೈಟ್? ಬ್ರಿಂಗ್ ಇನ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಯುನೀಕ್ನೆಸ್, that experience, that story that you have heard or you have lived. Okay? So adu nimge hege sikbidutte. Not everyone can identify ee experience important agatta ilva, idan barila bedva. All these confusions might happen, okay? But then you can take your time, you can try it out. There is no hard and fast rule. It's just like science. Experiments ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ನಾವು ಆ್ಯಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಹೀಗೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಇಷ್ಟೇ ಮೆಜರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆ್ಯಸಿಡ್, ಇಷ್ಟೇ ಮೆಜರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಬೇಸ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಮಿಕ್ಸ್, ಓನ್ಲಿ ದೆನ್ ನ್ಯೂಟ್ರಲೈಸೇಷನ್ ಹ್ಯಾಪನ್ಸ್. ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್, ಅದ್ರ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ಬಟ್ ಹೌ ಡಿಡ್ ಯು ಫಿಗರ್ ದಟ್ ಔಟ್? ಓನ್ಲಿ ಬೈ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆರಿಮೆಂಟಿಂಗ್, ಇಸ್ಂಟ್ ಇಟ್? ಸೊ ಯು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆರಿಮೆಂಟ್ ವಿತ್ ರೈಟಿಂಗ್, ಯು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆರಿಮೆಂಟ್ ವಿತ್ science communication. Okay, you can do it through any media for that matter, whatever interests you or whatever you have an upper hand in. But experiment it. Hedrukobedi. Do not worry about should I do this, not do this, how will people receive it, etc. Because nanu aa jagadalli idde. I was really not sure how to go about it, or nan madidna hege accept ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಎಲ್ಲ. I really have to tell you, I'm very lucky to receive a lot of guidance from Sumangla ma'am, from Nagesh Hegde sir, T.R. Anantram sir, Kollegala Sharma sir, Srinidhi ಅವರು. ಇವರೆಲ್ಲರೂ ನನಗೆ ತುಂಬ ಗೈಡೆನ್ಸ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟರು. And all of you can be that lucky because they're all available. They're all resources. I'm talking about resources today. Resources need not be a website, need not be a book, need not be a site on internet or a video. They are much better, much bigger than all that. They're all legendary. They might look very simple just being seated here, but they're all legendary. And please interact with them, understand, stay in touch. Please learn from them, and that's the biggest resource you can gain from this workshop. Hands down, I really wanted to tell you this. And then do not lose focus on the core topic, which probably I just did. I was going a little haywire, but when you're writing something or when you're presenting, ನಿಮ್ದು ಏನು ಕೋರ್ ಟಾಪಿಕ್ ಇದೆ. ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್, ನೀವು ಪ್ಲಾಸ್ಟಿಕ್ಸ್ ಬೇಡ, ಫೋಟೋಸಿಂಥಸಿಸ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಬರಿತೀರಾ ಅಂದರೆ ಆ ಮೇಜರ್ ಕೋರ್ ಟಾಪಿಕ್ನ ನೀವು ಆಗಾಗ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಟಚ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್, ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಟಚ್ ಅಪಾನ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ದೆನ್ ಗೋ ಅರೌಂಡ್. One story heli, come back to photosynthesis and link it. Okay, you talk about some statistics, link it. You talk about some experience of your own, again link it. Okay, so do not lose focus on the core topic. That's very important. And after that, edit. That's very important, you know. Now editors say ನಮ್ಮ article na edit ಮಾಡಲಿ ಅಂತ ಕಾಯಬೇಕಿಲ್ಲ. We can all be our own editors. We can all be our own readers. ನಾವೇ ತಾನೇ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ನಾವು ಬರೆದಿರೋದನ್ನ ಅಥವಾ ನಾವು ವಿಡಿಯೋ ರೆಕಾರ್ಡ್ ಮಾಡಿರೋದನ್ನ ಅಥವಾ ಪಾಡ್ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ನ ಕೇಳ್ತೀವಿ ಅಥವಾ ಓದ್ತೀವಿ. We are the first ones, right? So we have to edit it. Okay? So this movie, they have KGF, which I was just showing you the picture of that, just to grab attention because I know you'll all be sleepy after a heavy lunch. Okay, and there's a poster here, then you will think, why did this come here? Did she, you know, skip or go to some other PPT or something went wrong anta solpa ed kutkotira? I really wanted that. Not just that, whether you like it or not, there's a lot of hard work gone in there. Eshtondu dimensions alli jana kelsa madidare. That's when you have a product received from everyone. So ಅವರು ಅಷ್ಟು 2.5 hours ಮೂವಿನ is that all they shot? No, right? They have definitely ಇನ್ನೂ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಫಿಲ್ಮ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಇನ್ನೂ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ hours ಶಾಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ, but then they edited it, right? They knew what is required, what not. They have removed whatever they felt is not required for people. So you should also be doing that. Try and figure out what all points would interest people, what all points are relevant to people, what all points are accurate. Please keep them. If you have lost track here and there, feel free to edit it. It's your own article, your own video, your own podcast before it reaches someone else. Okay, so editing is very important. So these are few things I wanted you to think about, and then we'll go to the resources part of it. Now, communicating science, according to me, has 2 steps, 2 very simple steps. Okay, for these 2 simple steps, what are the resources required? We'll just look at that. And probably you might have to make a note, because before, when I was in the initial years of writing, if you consider a decade as good enough, then my first year, second year of writing, I used to go to seminars and figure out, understand, note down what all resources would be helpful, and trust me, they really helped. Okay, so because we are hearing from great people here, right? So we should definitely follow those steps. Of course, develop your own unique style, but understanding and learning from someone, that's how you should start it. So the first step is preparation. It's RWR according to me, not RRR. I'm not a great movie buff, but ಎರಡು ಮೂವಿ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ಸೇ ತೊಗೊಂಡು ಬಂದೆ, ಅಗೇನ್ ಟು ಪ್ರೂವ್ ಅ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ that examples are very important. Okay, so if you're talking recently, ನಾನು ಒಂದು ಆರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ಬರೆಯುವಾಗ it was for children. Okay, so I had to write about plastic. I wanted to call it polymer, but polymer ಅಂದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. Not everyone with science background, not everyone would understand what a polymer is. So ನಾನು ಹೇಗೆ ಹೇಳಿದೆ, take a chain made of beads. Okay, that's a polymer. Each bead in it is a monomer. So many monomers come together and make a polymer, just like ಎಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಮುತ್ತುಗಳು ಮಣಿಗಳು ಸೇರಿ ಒಂದು ಸರ ಆಗುತ್ತಲ್ಲ ಹಾಗೆ ಎಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಮೋನೋಮರ್ಗಳು ಸೇರಿ ಒಂದು ಪಾಲಿಮರ್ ಆಯಿತು. ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ಸ್ ತುಂಬ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ರಿಲೇಟಿವಿಟಿ ತರಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋ ಕಾರಣಕ್ಕೆ ಐ ಯೂಸ್ಡ್ ದೀಸ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ವೆರಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಇನ್ ವಿಚ್ ಎವರ್ ಮೀಡಿಯಮ್ ಆಫ್ ಸೈನ್ಸ್ ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಕೇಷನ್ ಯು ಟೇಕ್ ಅಪ್. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ದೆನ್ ದ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಒನ್ ಇಸ್ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟೇಷನ್. Before I go to that, the first step ಅಲ್ಲಿ RRR ಅಲ್ಲ RWR ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದೆ, but what is that? You can also see here, it's read, write, repeat. Now I want to tell you, it's not just, okay, read before writing. Okay, ಇವತ್ತು ನಾನು photosynthesis ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಬರಿಬೇಕು, so I just read about it and write about it. No, that's not how it is. Okay, you will have to keep reading, keep writing as well. Whatever you write is not for publication. Okay, you write to understand how good a writer you are. While writing, nimge artha agta hogutte what all I can change, what all I can improve, and where I'm good at. You know, what's my nuances, where I am, what are my positives, what are my negatives. To understand yourself as a writer, keep writing. Okay, and since you want to become journalists, and if you take up science journalism, it will be great if you can read science and write science. We have amazing people who have written a lot and left as resources for us. In Kannada, basically, Tejasvi is very famous. ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ ಗೊತ್ತಿರುತ್ತೆ ಪೂರ್ಣಚಂದ್ರ ತೇಜಸ್ವಿ ಅವರು, BGL ಸ್ವಾಮಿ ಅವರು, ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಅಲ್ಲದೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಮಧ್ಯೆ ಇವರೆಲ್ಲರೂ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಸುಮಂಗಲಾ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್ನ ಎವ್ರಿ ಒನ್ ಫಾರ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಮ್ಯಾಟರ್ ಎಷ್ಟರ ಮಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ನಮ್ಮನ್ನ ಇನ್ಸ್ಪೈರ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ಮತ್ತು ಸೈನ್ಸ್ನ ನಮಗೆ ಕನ್ವೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಈಸಿಯಾಗಿ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಡೋ ಥರ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಸೆಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಬರೆದಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಆಲ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ಸ್, ಆಲ್ಸೋ ರಿಸೋರ್ಸಸ್ ಫಾರ್ ಆಲ್ ಆಫ್ ಅಸ್. Okay, so read all that and read it again and again and again. ಮತ್ತೆ ಓದಿದಾಗ you realize different points, different parts of it. You understand it better each time and then keep writing. So repeat it. Read and write and read and write and keep repeating it. That's when you can become a good communicator, a good science communicator. Okay? And the second part, presentation. Yes, how you present it depending on which media it is, writing or podcasts or interviews, whatever it is. So based on that, now what are the resources available? Let's come back to the core topic. So according to me again, preparation has 3 sub-steps under that. The first one is choose a topic. Even in today's session, Nagesh Hegde sir session ಮತ್ತು ಸುಮಂಗಲಾ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್ ಸೆಷನಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಎಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ಸ್ ಮನಸ್ಸಿಗೆ ಬಂದಿರ್ಬೋದು. I also saw few of you making a note. You know, when you're hearing such eminent people talk about it, you do realize this part I never thought of, this is so interesting, idra bagge nan kalibodu, idra bagge baribodu, right? You want to explore some topics like that. Something that creates curiosity in you definitely might create curiosity in the reader or the listener, right? So firstly, stay curious. The last slide of Nagesh Hegde sir's presentation, there was a little one, a kid, ಲ್ಯಾಪ್ಟಾಪ್ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಏನೋ ಕ್ಯೂರಿಯಸ್ ಆಗಿ ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇತ್ತಲ್ಲ, ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಕ್ಯೂರಿಯಾಸಿಟಿ ಆಲ್ ಆಫ್ ಅಸ್ ಶುಡ್ ಬಿ ಹ್ಯಾವಿಂಗ್ ಇನ್ ಅಸ್. ವಿ ಆಲ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಅ ಕಿಡ್ ಇನ್ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್. ವಿ ಆಲ್ ಅಟ್ ಹಾರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ವಿ ಆರ್ ಆಲ್ ಚಿಲ್ಡ್ರನ್, ರೈಟ್? ಆಲ್ ಆಫ್ ಅಸ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಅ ಚೈಲ್ಡ್ ವಿತ್ ಇನ್ ಆರ್ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ಕ್ಯೂರಿಯಸ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದರೆ ಯಾವುದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಬರೀಬೇಕು, ವಾಟ್ಸ್ ದ ಬೆಸ್ಟ್ ಟಾಪಿಕ್ ಟು ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ವಿತ್ ನಿಮಗೆ ತೋಚುತ್ತೆ. ಯು ಡೋಂಟ್ ವಾಂಟ್ ಸಮನ್ ಟು ಸಜೆಸ್ಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಟು ಯು ಫಾರ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಮ್ಯಾಟರ್. ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ just look around, talk to your friends, talk to your professors, talk to your family, talk to children. Okay, you get a lot of topics which are very, very interesting. ನೀವು ಅದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಬರಿತಾ ಹೋಗ್ಬೋದು, ಕಲಿತಾ ಹೋಗ್ಬೋದು. The best part of being a science communicator is you get to learn a lot as well before you communicate, and as and when you communicate also you are learning. And life is all about that, right? If you stop learning, it means you stop living. Right? ನಾವು ಇರೋವರೆಗೂ ನಾವು ಕಲಿತಾ ಇರಬೇಕು, ಕಲಿಕೆನೇ ಬದುಕಾಗಬೇಕು. And as a science communicator, you do get an opportunity to do that and to create a spark in someone else's life as well. Okay? So curiosity also. How important is the topic to the world now? Is it required? ಈಗ photosynthesis, again I'm behind that. Right now, do I have to write about it? ಅದನ್ನು ಓದೋರು ಯಾರು? ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ಬರಿತಾ ಇದ್ರೆ okay, maybe they don't know about it, they want to learn. If you're writing about some science topic which will be read only by postdoctoral fellows, obviously you won't be choosing that topic, right? Just a basic plain topic like that, maybe not. Again, depends. So important idya adu, is it required for the society? You have to think about that as well. And relevance. The audience, ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಅದು ರಿಲೆವೆಂಟ್ ಇದೆಯಾ, ಇವತ್ತಿನ ದಿವಸಕ್ಕೆ ಅದು ರಿಲೆವೆಂಟ್ ಇದೆಯಾ, ಅದು ಬೇಕಿದೆಯಾ, do they connect with the topic? That's very important. Resources, of course, books, internet, anyone, all these I did speak about. So it's very simple to choose a topic. What next? Collect information. Okay? This, initially when you start writing, you feel it is difficult because there's loads of information. Like in yesterday's session, sir was telling that ಮುಂಚೆ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಷನ್ನೇ ಸಿಗ್ತಾ ಇರಲಿಲ್ಲ, ತುಂಬ ಕಷ್ಟ ಇತ್ತು. ಇಂಟರ್ನೆಟ್ ವಾಸನ್ ಅವೈಲೇಬಲ್ ಲೈಕ್ ದಿಸ್. ಆಲ್ ದ ಬುಕ್ಸ್ ಡಿಡ್ ನಾಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ದ ಸೈಟೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ recent research articles, and scientists were not open to tell you what all they've been doing. They don't tell you everything about the experiment. Heg sigutte information. That is how it was few years back. But now you have loads of information, and that is also a problem. About this also, my seniors have all told you, so I don't want to drag it, but all I want to tell you is There is information available, so why not use it? Why not learn? Why not communicate it? Okay, so yeah, science articles, research papers, science write-ups, science magazines, podcasts, documentaries, all these. Okay, we also have a lot of pictures there. Research Matters is one such institution where a lot of research papers are communicated in very simple language, where you and I and all of us can understand it. Okay, so we have also, you know, it could be Star Talk with Neil deGrasse Tyson, it could be Sutra Patrike, E-Gnana Patrike, also the Government of Karnataka's website, which is e-Kannada. So I'll just take you through these two links and show you how the information is available there and how you can learn from it. Okay. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಲಿಂಕ್ ಕ್ಲಿಕ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ವರ್ಕ್ ಆಗುತ್ತಾ? ಓಕೆ. ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಇಟ್ಸ್ ನಾಟ್. ಸೊ researchgate.net ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಆನ್ಲೈನ್ ಲೈಬ್ರರಿ, ಮತ್ತು ಎಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಇವತ್ತು ಬೆಳಗ್ಗೆ ಕೂಡ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್ ಮತ್ತು ಸರ್ ಒಂದಷ್ಟು ರಿಸೋರ್ಸಸ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆನೂ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ ನಿಮಗೆ. ನೆನ್ನೆ ಕೂಡ ನಿಮ್ಗೊಂದಷ್ಟು ಗೊತ್ತಾಗಿದೆ. ಸೊ ಆಲ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಇಫ್ ಯು ಮೇಕ್ ಅ ನೋಟ್ ಆಫ್, and from there you can get started, and then you will definitely in the journey learn about more resources, more accurate and reliable resources. So one such example is Research Matters. I'll use this. So where you have lot of articles, lot of stories related to science, engineering, technology, society. You have podcasts as well, very interesting podcasts. You have PsyQs, which will really create a spark in you. Infographics, you know, through a lot of pictures and graphics. If information is, you know, this is interesting, right? When you look at such pictures and videos, they're interesting. So that's when firstly you are interested to learn. Neevu kaltu tilkota ಬೇರೆಯವರಿಗೂ ಅದನ್ನ ಹಂಚೋದೆ ವಿಜ್ಞಾನ ಸಂವಹನ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. So this is one such example of Research Matters. And one more thing, ನಾಗೇಶ್ ಹೆಗ್ಡೆ ಸರ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದ ಹಾಗೆ, ವರ್ನಾಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಲ್ಯಾಂಗ್ವೇಜಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಅದನ್ನು ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಕೇಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಎಷ್ಟು ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟು ರೀಜನಲ್ ಲ್ಯಾಂಗ್ವೇಜಲ್ಲಿ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ನಿಮಗೆ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ ರೀಜನಲ್ ಲ್ಯಾಂಗ್ವೇಜಲ್ಲಿ ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಕೇಟ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ಕೂಡ ಇನ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ 7 ಲ್ಯಾಂಗ್ವೇಜಸ್, you know, Kannada, Tamil, Assamese, Gujarati, in all these languages there is a lot of information available on this website. Okay, so ಇದೇ ಥರ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಕನ್ನಡದ e-Kannada. This is from Government of Karnataka again, and illi sikkapatte knowledge available ide, lot of resources. Okay, you don't have to go looking at ಈಗ ಒಂದು ನಾವೆಲ್ಲರೂ ಹೇಳಿರೋ ಒಂದು 7-8 sites and books ಬರ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೇನು you have a lot of information, but you should know how to get what you want in that, and eventually you will learn that. Okay, so ಜ್ಞಾನಕೋಶ ಅಂತಿದೆ, ನಿಘಂಟುಗಳು again. In sciences, that's again very important. Technological terms, ಪಾರಿಭಾಷಿಕ ಪದಗಳು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಸೊ you're not sure what to use probably because already firstly ನೀವು ಸೈನ್ಸ್ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ಗ್ರೌಂಡಿಂದ ಬಂದಿಲ್ಲ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಒಂದಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಅಕಸ್ಮಾತ್ ಬಂದಿದ್ರೂ your area of specialization would be something different probably. Like for example, I am comfortable with biology and chemistry. I'm really not comfortable with physics, but if I have to cover a story which includes a part of physics in it, I will have to learn about it to how much ever I can, right? And the resources are available. But technological terms na kannadalli ಏನು ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ, ಅದನ್ನು ತಮಿಳಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ, ತೆಲುಗುನಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ, if you don't know that, there is a lot of you know, ಬೆಳಗ್ಗೆ ಸರ್ ಕೂಡ ತೋರಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು, ವಿಜ್ಞಾನ ತಂತ್ರಜ್ಞಾನ ಶಬ್ದಕೋಶ ಪದಕೋಶ ಎಲ್ಲ ಇದೆ. You can buy those books. Also online there is a lot of information available. Again, eventually you will learn which is the right word to use. ಅದು ನಿಮಗೆ ತಿಳಿತಾ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. But I also wanted to tell you, ಇಲ್ಲಿದೆ you have Pada Kanaja, where you have not exactly sure of how many dictionaries are there, but there are various dictionaries clubbed up here together. So one dictionary ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂದರೆ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಕಡೆಯಿಂದ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಅದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಮಾಹಿತಿ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. ನೀವು ಆ ಪದ ಉಪಯೋಗಿಸ್ಬೋದಾ ಇಲ್ವಾ, ಸೂಕ್ತನಾ ಅಲ್ವಾ, ನಿಮಗೆ ತಿಳಿತಾ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಗೂಗಲ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಸರ್ಚ್ ಮಾಡೋ ಬದಲು, ಗೂಗಲ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಸರ್ಚ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಸರ್ಚ್ ಇಂಜಿನ್ಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಒಂದು ವರ್ಡ್ ಹಾಕಿ ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಇನ್ ಕನ್ನಡ, ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಇನ್ ಒರಿಯಾ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎಷ್ಟೊಂದು ರಿಸಲ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಯಾವುದು ಅಂತ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗಬೇಕು ಅಂದರೆ ಈ ಥರ ಸೈಟ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಬಂದಾಗ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮಗೆ ಆದಷ್ಟು accurate answers ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ನನ್ನ ಅನುಭವದಿಂದ I would definitely want to share that. So these are 2 examples. lot of information available. And we'll go to the next part of it. We are still in preparation, step 1. Adral first A part enittu? Just before this, what was the previous one? In preparation, where do you start? Sorry? Exactly, choose a topic. After you choose a topic, now information collecting. Now you know where all you get the information from. A lot of examples are here, many more available. And the next part is, where do we keep all this information? Obviously, ella thalali itkondu nenpitkolakagalla alva. You can't always remember all these, right? And you don't start a story now and you finish it now, especially when you are beginning. ನೀವು ಅದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಒಂದು ಸಣ್ಣ ಆರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ಮೇಲೆ you might have to work for days or weeks together, right? Today you collect some information, tomorrow you collect some other information, day after you sit and understand both of these and realize, no, this is not right, you have to look for something else, probably, right? It takes time and you have to save all this somewhere. You can't copy paste everything into a Microsoft Word doc and it takes a lot of space, lot of time. So adakagi whatever information you collect, right, adan one kade save ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, sort ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. Of course you can go with the most humble way, ನೀವು ಒಂದು ಪುಸ್ತಕ ಒಂದು ಪೆನ್ನು, just books and pens are more than enough, yes, but then it's easier to sort the information when you do it digitally. Okay, there are a lot of apps available in all our phones, right? ನಮ್ಮ ಎಲ್ಲ ಫೋನ್ಗಳಲ್ಲೂ ಒಂದು ನೋಟ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಜಾಗ ಇದ್ದೇ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, where if we have explored all the features of it, ನಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿರುತ್ತೆ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಪಿನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, ಏನು ಲಿಂಕ್ ಅಟ್ಯಾಚ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, ಹೇಗೆ ಸೇವ್ ಮಾಡಿಟ್ಕೋಬೋದು ಅಂತ. Along with that, you also have few apps here like Evernote or Google Keep. In fact, the best note-taking apps of 2022, updated information bekalva. So these are the apps, Microsoft OneNote agli athwa Evernote, Apple Notes or Google Keep, Notion. Illi ನೀವು ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, you not just write something and store, you can also add in images there, add in video links there, right? So all these information together can be stored and later sorted, right, according to your convenience using digital platform. Fine? So you want the slide to be, I see a lot of you are making notes, so can I move on to the next slide? Yeah? Okay. So this is for note taking, all right? So I thought we are done with step 1. Step 1 alli enu topic select madidri, information collect madidri. The next step is presentation, correct? But then just before that, hold on, we have something else here, okay? You have to authenticate it, right? ಯಾರು ಬೇಕಾದರೂ ಏನು ಬೇಕಾದರೂ ಹೋಗಿ ಬರೆದ್ಬಿಡ್ಬೋದು on Google, right? Wikipedia ಆಗಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಬೇಕಾದರೂ, all of us can go and edit it. I edit something, you add something else, how do we know which is right? Correct? So accuracy check ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ reliable source ಅಲ್ವಾ ಅಂತ ಚೆಕ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ತುಂಬ important ಆಗುತ್ತೆ before you proceed and present it. Okay? So that is your step between step 1 and step 2. Check the information, whether it's accurate, whether it's reliable. And you can do that. There's a video here which I would want to play. Again, just to break the monotony, because ನೀವು ನಿದ್ದೆ ಮಾಡಿಬಿಡ್ತೀರಾ ಇಲ್ಲಾಂದರೆ after sakat lunch. Okay. This is about evaluating the authenticity of the information. Oh. 1 second. Can I just copy paste that?
I'll click money.
Okay. ಆಗ್ತಲ್ಲ. YouTube.
If you want to succeed at your assignments or research, you should only use quality information, whether it's found in books, journal articles, or websites. Use the following criteria, also known as the CRAP test, to critically evaluate any source of information. Currency. When was the information published, updated, and/or revised? Is the information out of date for the topic? Relevance or intended audience. How much information is presented? Does it provide a superficial treatment or a detailed analysis? Is the information related and relevant to your topic? Is the readership level appropriate, neither too simple nor too sophisticated? Authority. Not all books or journal articles in an academic library are scholarly. Who are the authors and/or editors, and what are their credentials? For journals, are articles peer-reviewed? That is, do they have the approval of other experts in the field? For books, are they published by scholarly presses, popular presses, or self-published? Accuracy and verifiability. Does the source match your understanding of the topic? Can you verify the claims in other sources? Never rely on just one source. Is there a bibliography or list of works cited? What types of sources and how many relevant sources are cited? This is an indication of the depth of the author's knowledge. Purpose and objectivity. Is the purpose stated? Is the subject approached from an objective standpoint? If not, what is the author's bias and how might it influence the information presented? Be wary, there may be more than one perspective on any given issue. Using these criteria, currency, relevance, authority, accuracy, and purpose, to critically evaluate sources of information will help ensure that you're only using quality sources of information. If you need more...
Okay, so that's crap test actually, just to figure out ಯಾವುದು ಕೆಟ್ಟದು ಯಾವುದು ಒಳ್ಳೆಯದು ಯಾವುದು ಸರಿ ಯಾವುದು ತಪ್ಪು ಯಾವುದು ರಿಲಯಬಲ್ ಯಾವುದಲ್ಲ. I know why you're all laughing about the name, and it is literally that. If you don't actually figure out whether it's accurate or not, it's reliable or not, the article without reliable information, without accurate information, without relevance is equal to that. You know what I mean, right? Okay, so the next part is we also have tools available from Google. It's made from Google Fact Check Tools anta. So ee link ge ನೀವು ಹೋದ್ರೆ you can actually just look in for Google Fact Check Tools ಅಂತಾನೆ. So ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ how to figure out whether the given information, the information that you have, okay, you can upload over it and figure out whether ಅದು myth ಅದು fact ಅದು pseudoscience ಅಲ್ವಾ. ನಿಮಗೆ ತುಂಬ ಕಲಿಕೆ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. You can use Google Fact Check Tools. So these are two ways of figuring out whether the information that you have is reliable, authentic or not. So now there is no need to stop, okay? We don't have to wait a minute. We can go on to step 2 now. Step 2, what is step 2? What is it, guys? Presentation. Topic choose ಮಾಡಿ ಆಯಿತು, information collect ಮಾಡಿ ಆಯಿತು, ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದಾಯಿತು, ಬರೆಯೋಕ್ಕೆ ready, or to present in the form of video or any medium that you have chosen, okay? So how do you use resources for that? Now here, resources that we use next are for presenting it, the medium, presenting it, okay? So of course you have a lot of images here. All those images talk about what all resources are available. These are few examples only. There are hundreds and hundreds of platforms. I literally mean this, hundreds of platforms available, okay? The more you know about all these, you can use all these, okay? But before that, it depends on two things that's very, very important. Now again, these points are already covered by all the seniors of mine. ಆದರೆ ಒಂದು ಎರಡು ವಿಚಾರ ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ. I don't want to drag it anymore. Audience ಮೇಲೆ depend ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. Okay, for two examples I would want to state. One is right now about you. Yesterday when I interacted with few of you, I realized science ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಅಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಆಸಕ್ತಿನೂ ಇಲ್ಲ, meaning you're not interested in sciences personally. Secondly, you're not from science background. In spite of that, you can still think, learn and try your hand at science communication. There's no harm. You can definitely try. Okay? Now, audience, neevu anta gottadmele, I mean to say, if you're not everyone is from science background andaga, I went back home yesterday and edited my content. The content that I'm communicating today here is not the original content actually what I had prepared. I've changed it now, edited it according to my audience, okay? Secondly, recently I had a conversation with my son, who's 7 years old. So I was just talking to him earthquake ಬಗ್ಗೆ. So 7-year-old ಹತ್ರ ನಾನು earthquake ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಮಾತಾಡುವಾಗ I can't say tectonic plates and you know, how Richter scale measures it. I can't directly start off with that, correct? Obviously, ನಾನು puzzle ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದೆ. There was a puzzle that he plays with usually. ಈ ಥರ ಅರ್ಥಲ್ಲಿ ಭೂಮಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ಲೇಟ್ಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಲೈಕ್ puzzle they fit in. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ as much as he can understand, I tried to explain. Okay? So there the audience was my son who was 7-year-old. Right? So any topic, now again, already ಎಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಜನ ಹೇಳಿರೋ ಹಾಗೆ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್ ಕೂಡ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು ಬೆಳಗ್ಗೆ, ನಾವು ಯಾರು ವ್ಯೂವರ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಲಿಸ್ನರ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ವೆರಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್. ಅವ್ರ ಏಜ್ ಏನು, ಅವ್ರ ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡಿಂಗ್, ಅವ್ರ ನಾಲೆಡ್ಜ್ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ಗ್ರೌಂಡ್ ಏನು, ಅವ್ರು ಎಷ್ಟು ಕಲ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಅವ್ರ ಲ್ಯಾಂಗ್ವೇಜ್, ವಾಟ್ ಲ್ಯಾಂಗ್ವೇಜ್ ದೇ ಆರ್ ಕಂಫರ್ಟೇಬಲ್ ವಿತ್, ರೈಟ್? ಆಲ್ ದೀಸ್ you will have to keep in mind before you present your material. Okay? Secondly, medium of communication. Medium of communication ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಎರಡು ಅರ್ಥ ತಗೋಬೋದು. ಒಂದು language. Again, it's the best to do in the language that you are comfortable. ನಿಮಗೆ ಓದಕ್ಕೆ ಬರೆಯೋಕ್ಕೆ ಅಥವಾ ಮಾತಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ, the language that's the comfortable one, you have to choose that. Okay? ಆಗಲೇ ನೀವು 100% ಕೊಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ. Secondly, also the language which your intended audience are comfortable with. ಈಗಿನ್ನೂ ನಾನು ಹೇಳಿದ ಹಾಗೆ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಯಾವ ಭಾಷೆ ಕಂಫರ್ಟಬಲ್. ಯು ಕಾಂಟ್ ಗೋ ಟು ಅ ರೂರಲ್ ವಿಲೇಜ್ ಇನ್ ಅ ರಿಮೋಟ್ ವಿಲೇಜ್ ಇನ್ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಟಾಕಿಂಗ್ ಇನ್ ಹಿಂದಿ. ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗಲ್ಲ ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಯು ಕಾಂಟ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಟಾಕಿಂಗ್ ಇನ್ ಬೆಂಗಾಲಿ, ದೇ ಡೋಂಟ್ ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಇಟ್, ರೈಟ್? ಸಿಮಿಲರ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಬೆಂಗಾಲ್ಗೆ ಹೋಗಿ ನೀವು ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ಶುರು ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗಲಿಕ್ಕಿಲ್ಲ ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಸೊ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಆಡಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಯಾವ ಏಜ್ ಗ್ರೂಪು, ಏನು ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ಗ್ರೌಂಡು ಮತ್ತು ಅವ್ರ ಭಾಷೆ ಯಾವುದು, ವಾಟ್ ದೇ ಆರ್ ಕಂಫರ್ಟಬಲ್ ವಿತ್ ಇಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಬಿಫೋರ್ ಯು ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟಿಂಗ್. ದಿ ಅದರ್ ವೇ ಆಫ್ ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡಿಂಗ್ medium of communication is whether it's visual media or whether you're writing it, whether it's a podcast, it's a formal interview or a casual interview, what mode are you using? That's very important. When these two things are sorted in your head, ಇದು ನೀವು ಡಿಸೈಡ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀರಾ, ನಾನು ಹೀಗೆ ನಾನು ಬರಿತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ ಅಥವಾ ನಾನೊಂದು ವಿಡಿಯೋನೇ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಮೈ ಇಂಟೆಂಡೆಡ್ ಆಡಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಆಫ್ ಏಜ್ ಗ್ರೂಪ್ 5 to 7 ಅಥವಾ ಪೋಸ್ಟ್ ಡಾಕ್ಟರಲ್ ಫೆಲೋಸ್, ಯು ನೋ that's whom I am intending to address ಅಂತ ನೀವು ಡಿಸೈಡ್ ಮಾಡಿದ ಮೇಲೆ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಗೋ ಅಹೆಡ್ ವಿತ್ ಅ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟೇಷನ್. ಆ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟೇಷನ್ ಹೇಗಿರಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಸೈನ್ಸ್ ಜರ್ನಲಿಸ್ಟ್ ಹೇಗೆ ಬರಿಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಸರ್ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು, ಇವತ್ತು ಮ್ಯಾಮ್ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಮೀಡಿಯಾದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಗೆ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ. So I will not be taking a lot of time on that again, but few points that I want to reiterate. ಅವರೆಲ್ಲರೂ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ ನೆನ್ನೆ ಮತ್ತು ಇವತ್ತು, but it's very important, so I want to reiterate as a summary to all of you. That's what I'll be doing now. Presentation ಹೇಗೆ, what all is important. Okay? Also this I wanted to talk, my lang books ಅಂತ ಆಗಲಿ ಅಥವಾ ನಿತ್ಯ ವಿಜ್ಞಾನ, ಮ್ಯಾಮ್ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಅದನ್ನು ಮಾಡಿಸ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು. ಮ್ಯಾಮ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸರ್, ಸುಮಂಗ್ಲಾ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಅಮೇಝಿಂಗ್ ಎಷ್ಟು ಒಳ್ಳೆ ರಿವ್ಯೂಸ್ ಸಿಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಫ್ರಮ್ ರಿಮೋಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್, ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ ಇಷ್ಟ ಆಗ್ತದೆ, ಎಷ್ಟು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಾಯಿದೆ, ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಸೋ ಸಿಂಪಲ್ ಅಂತ. ಅಷ್ಟು ಸಿಂಪಲ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ನಾವು ಸೈನ್ಸ್ನ. ಖಂಡಿತ ಕಬ್ಬಿಣದ ಕಡಲೆ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಖಂಡಿತ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಈವನ್ ರಾಕೆಟ್ ಸೈನ್ಸ್ ಇಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ರಾಕೆಟ್ ಸೈನ್ಸ್ ಇಫ್ ಯು ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಕೇಟೆಡ್ ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ಲಿ, ರೈಟ್? ಸೊ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್, ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಆಲ್ ಇನ್ ಯೋರ್ ಹ್ಯಾಂಡ್ಸ್ ಆಸ್ ಸೈನ್ಸ್ ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಕೇಟರ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಜರ್ನಲಿಸ್ಟ್ಸ್. ಓಕೆ? So all these apps, Insta, in fact most of you who are sitting here might not even be on Facebook. How many are on Facebook here? Very few. How many are on Insta? Lot more, right? So that talks about this generation. Like yesterday sir was telling, I think Chaitra sir was telling that ಮುಂಚೆ maybe 30 years ಗೆ ಒಂದ್ಸಲ generation ಬದಲಾಗ್ತಿತ್ತು, generation gap. ಈಗ every year or every 2 years generation gap, right? We call them millennials first, then Gen X, Gen Z, what next ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. But if I have to connect with you, I can't talk about something that you are not aware of and start off, correct? Through Insta it's easy for me to connect with you, not through Facebook maybe. Facebook, which is a recent app, is already becoming obsolete. So hege, right? You have to understand what is trending, not just the media, also the topics which are trending. I'm not telling you have to sensationalize news. It's not that. But if you have to connect with people, only when you connect with people, you can convey something. All the great leaders till now, all the great people, be it an actor or a writer or a singer or anyone for that matter, if they have succeeded, they will have various, of course, discipline in life, a lot of hard work, ella ide. But our Madirodu, I think one which is not spoken about much is that connect that they can strike with people. It's very, very important. Actually, I'm going off topic, but I really wanted to tell you all this, that since you're all Gen Z students, that's why Gen X students, EQ is all we need now. Empathy, right? Understanding, connecting, that's very important. If you want to connect, you have to know which medium of communication to use. And that medium of communication not just is a mode of presenting, it's also a mode of understanding. You also get a lot of resources, a lot of learning from that. Okay? So also like tagging, yesterday, Mansi ma'am was telling how you have to tag the right word so that it reaches the right people. Okay? So all these you will have to keep in mind. MyLang books agirbodu, Google Play books, or even on Audible or iRadio or Anchor, Spotify. All these are various modes of blogs, vlogs. All these are different modes of communicating, especially science. Because science is very, 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 very important part of all our lives. It really has to reach every single person out there. And it might look like a boring slide again, post-lunch session. If I was sitting there as a student, idenu ishtond points ide, matte idra bagge 1 hour, onnon point bagge 5 minutes matadidre ಏನು ಮಾಡೋದು might be your thought, I don't know, but it's very important. Okay? Trustworthiness, we spoke about it already. Scientific irbeku, factual irbeku. It should be as transparent as possible. You should be able to see through it literally. I mean to say, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನೋ hidden agenda ಇದೆಯಾ? Is it left? Is it right? You know, ಯಾವ side oriented ಆಗಿದೆ ಇದು? ಏನು bias ಇರ್ಬೋದು ಇಲ್ಲಿ? ಯಾವ industrialist ದುಡ್ಡು ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಇದು ಬರ್ಸಿರ್ಬೋದು? You know, none of you should feel that when an article is out there, or when an interview is there, or when a talk is out there. It should be transparent for you to see science facts only. Okay? And balanced irbeku. Haudu. Balance doesn't mean like nene sir helta idru, one kade scientist na karstare, one kade jyotishigalna karstare. It's not that. That's not balancing. Okay? Balance factually madbekagate. Objective and subjective, like Kamala ma'am was saying yesterday. Striking that balance is the key. It's very, very important. And presentation style tumba simple irbeku. The simpler is the, actually being simple is the most difficult thing, right? They say that. It is true. But then you start off and you will eventually fall in place. So simple irli, coherent, contextual irli, en topic ide adak related irbekagate. Joteli it should be spell binding, it should be interesting. Only then someone will pick it up and read. Someone will switch on the radio and hear. Or watch your video only if it's interesting. If not, why? If I just start talking about all this in detail, just points stating, one kade inda one kade hogde, I'm just standing here and doing it, I'll see most of you talking amongst yourselves. If it's not interesting, that's how it is. We know it. Ivat nanu illi nodbodu nange kaansutte, okay, ನೀವು ಕೇಳಿಸ್ಕೊತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ ಅಥವಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. But your article is published, someone else is reading, ಅರ್ಧ ಓದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಬಿಸಾಡಿದ್ರೆ, the value is not served. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಉದ್ದೇಶ ಸಾರ್ಥಕ ಆಗಲ್ಲ ಆಗ. ರೇಡಿಯೋ ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಆಫ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ, ವಿಡಿಯೋ ನೋಡ್ತಾ ನೋಡ್ತಾ, ನೆನ್ನೆ ಮಾನ್ಸಿ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್ ಹೇಳ್ದಾಗೆ ಗೋಲ್ಡ್ ಫಿಶ್ಗಿರೋ ಅಟೆನ್ಷನ್ ಸ್ಪ್ಯಾನ್ಗಿಂತ ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ ಬೀಯಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಅಟೆನ್ಷನ್ ಸ್ಪ್ಯಾನ್ ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಆಗಿದೆ, ರೈಟ್? ಹೌ ಮಚ್ ಇಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಗೈಸ್? 7 seconds. ಲೆಸ್ ದೆನ್ 7 seconds ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಕ್ಯಾಚ್ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದರೆ ಗಾನ್. ದಟ್ಸ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಕ್ಟ್ಲಿ ವೈ ಲೆಸ್ ದೆನ್ 7 seconds ಏನು ಓದ್ಬೋದು ಅಥವಾ ಏನು ಕೇಳ್ತೀವಿ? ಟಾಪಿಕ್, ಶೀರ್ಷಿಕೆ, ಹೆಡ್ಲೈನ್, heading, Have you give a title to your article or your podcast or your video? That's very, very important. Okay? And the first introduction, you start off with photosynthesis. Again, I'm coming back to photosynthesis. Photosynthesis is preparation of food by green plants, etc. That's not how you started, right? Bring in a story, bring in some connectivity, bring in a folklore or a song, or a movie, again, like what I did today, or a book, yeah? So this is how you should catch attention of your reader or a listener or a viewer and then go ahead with it. So, yeah. Interacting with audience, am I doing that? Yes, no? That's how your piece of work should also interact with audience or viewers or readers, okay? And then, is it impactful? Is it inspiring? Is it relatable? Is it responsible enough? You can't just write about anything that you want, right? ಅದು ರೆಸ್ಪಾನ್ಸಿಬಲ್ ಆಗಿ ನೀವು ಅದು ಒಂದು ಪೀಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಷನ್ನ ಯು ಶುಡ್ ಬಿ ಹ್ಯಾಂಡ್ಲಿಂಗ್ ಇಟ್ ವೆರಿ ರೆಸ್ಪಾನ್ಸಿಬಲಿ. Otherwise, what happens? We already saw examples in sirs and ma'am's presentations. Correct? So, purposeful irbeku, targeted, audience lekkakke takkage target agirbeku. These are few 12 quality indicators for science communication. If your piece of work is not reflecting all this, yenagutte gotta? Otherwise, if your piece of work is not reflecting these, oh, just a second. Oh. There's no escape. Give me a second, please. ಏನಾಗಬಹುದು according to you? If your piece of work is not reflecting this, ಏನಾಗಬಹುದು? Would anyone want to answer that? Please feel free and talk, otherwise along with you I'll also doze off. Please tell me. ಏನಾಗಬಹುದು? If your piece of work is not reflecting all this, ಏನಾಗಬಹುದು? Who would want to try and answer? ಏನಾಗಬಹುದು? Anyone? No answer? Okay, answer is here. I'll just play it. ಅಷ್ಟೊತ್ತು ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರಿ ಏನಾಗ್ಬೋದು. If your piece of work is not reflecting this. Anyone? No answer? Was I even audible? Was I even clear? And ನೋಡ್ಬೇಕು ಸರ್. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ? ಇಷ್ಟೊತ್ತು ಕೇಳಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರಾ? Okay, yeah, sure. I just want to play this. This is the one. Suppose ನಮ್ಮ ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಕೇಷನ್ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದರೆ, ನಮ್ಮದು ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದರೆ, ನಾವು ಆ್ಯಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಕೇಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ರೀಚ್ ಆಗುತ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ವಾ ನೋಡೋಣ. This game is called Chinese Whispers. I'm sure you're all aware.
कसले गल्ती गर्यो के मेसेज दियो सबै भिडियोमा हेर्नु लाग्यो को चाहिँ रहेछ तर मेसेज चाहिँ के पुगेछ अन्तमा भनेर हेर्नु पर्यो ल अन्तमा मेसेज के पुग्यो देखाउनुहोस् त
So, do you all relate to it now? Do you understand? So, if our science communication or any communication for that matter is not clear, is not interesting, is not factual, is not relevant, and if it doesn't reflect all those points which were lined up there, this is how it's going to be. It's not going to be communicated effectively. It won't serve the purpose, right? So, if it doesn't serve the purpose, then there's no point to it at all. You have written it for your own sake and nothing after that. So, as science journalists or as journalists, that's not what you want to do, correct? So, that probably told you. On a lighter note, of course, science communication is far more greater than what you probably saw. It was just a game there, but I just wanted to make a point and make you understand how important it is. So, otherwise what happens? We'll be back to square one. Where we started, we'll be back there. Scientists say apples, we think oranges, and that's it. No point served, right? So, who can change this? Who will bridge the gap? Not all of us understand what scientists speak. Not all of us understand what is there in the research papers, right? Who is supposed to bridge the gap? Who, according to you? Anyone? Who will bridge the gap? Yaar ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಈ ಕೆಲಸನ? ಯಾರು ಇದನ್ನ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ? Yeah? It is you. Only you can make the change happen. Only you can do this. Only you can do this by keeping it simple, keeping it factual, and keeping it interesting so that firstly it reaches people. And I'm sure before presenting you have made sure it's factual, it's reliable, it's from an accurate source, a reliable source, correct? So definitely the right information is reaching the right people. Every single person has the right to know what's happening in the scientific community. It's actually eventually for their own good that everything is happening around us, right? And bring science and people closer. Also influence policy making. You have a, like yesterday sir was mentioning that the fourth pillar of our constitution, of our society is what? Is journalism. Being science journalists, you have that unique ability of making this happen, influencing the policy making. Sumangla ma'am was also showing it today, Kudre Mukha, how it is done there, right? So how did that happen? Because of you science people, so all the science journalists who have all done great work till now. So you have to take the beacon forward now. It's all in your hands, right? So you are the change makers, only you can make it. Please remember that, and that's about what I wanted to share here with all of you. Thank you again for all this opportunity and patient listening. Thank you.
Any questions?
Are there any questions at all? So I'll repeat the cliched statement here again, that either you have heard everything and understood everything, or you haven't listened to me at all. So what is true out of these two? Now only you know. I hope the first one is true and you have heard and understood. I see a few of you nodding your heads, so that really makes my day. Please I hope you have made a note of the resources ella barkondidre, athwa I can also share the document or whatever I know. Moreover, please interact with the resource people here. Or, you know, better than all this, you find their experience, their learning. If that's transferred into all of us, nothing like it. Please remember your responsibility and go for it, guys. You can all do it. Okay? Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. There's a question?
There is a flood of information in internet.
Correct.
How we can choose that when you are preparing the article?
Yeah.
Which one you can choose, and how we can, there is a Google fact you said.
Correct.
Is it very important that everything we should do the Google fact?
Not everything probably, because at times you do realize it is fake, it is fact. You do realize it, you do understand it based on your own knowledge, yes. And if it is cited in various publications, as it was already shown in the video that I played, you know, if it is there cited in various publications and how good the publication name is, the house is, you will know whether you have received factual information till date from that publications or not, right? If you are not aware, then please go ahead and check. It's better safe than sorry. It's better to check before you put it out into the public. And as you said, there's a lot of information available. You will know eventually to curate it. Take your time. That's exactly why I also referred to KGF movie. It didn't happen overnight, right? So take your time, because science reporters might not have too much time, but science journalists, otherwise if you are making a piece on an important very, very important relevant piece, if you are working on it and you have enough time, please take your time. Learn more about it. Eventually in that journey, ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ ಯಾವ್ದು ಸರಿ, ಯಾವ್ದು ತಪ್ಪು, ಯಾವ್ದು ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಚುಯಲ್, ಯಾವುದಲ್ಲ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಬೆಟರ್ ಸೇಫ್ ದೆನ್ ಸಾರಿ, ಆ್ಯಸ್ ಐ ಟೋಲ್ಡ್ ಯು, ಚೆಕ್ ಮಾಡಿ, ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಕೇಳಿ, ಕಾಲ್ ಮಾಡಿ ನೀವು ಕೇಳ್ಬೋದು. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ರಿಲೇಟೆಡ್ ರಿಸೋರ್ಸ್ ಪೀಪಲ್ ಜೊತೆ ನೀವು ಮಾತಾಡಿ ಅವರಿಂದ ನೀವು ಮಾಹಿತಿ ಪಡೆದ್ರೆ ಅದು ಇನ್ನೂ ಉತ್ತಮ ಅಂತ ಅನಿಸುತ್ತೆ. I hope I answered your question. Any other question or anything if you wanted to convey? Okay. And I really want to thank again everyone who gave me this opportunity and everyone who's present here and my guru, all of you. And one more thing, I would really want to appreciate Mr. Altaf, because yesterday I told what we preach, we have to live that as well, right? We say climate change, global warming, and we use plastic bottles and plastic cover on the bouquets. Weren't okay. So yesterday I did suggest that please in tomorrow's session just give flowers, no need of the plastic cover, and he did agree. Thank you so much for that. And I see only flowers today and no plastic. Probably in the next session no plastic water bottles also, it will be great. We can all carry our own steel bottles. Yeah, that's all. That's a small piece of thing. Thank you for making it happen.
Shall we give a big round of applause to our dear Kshama for a wonderful presentation. Now you know how to find the resource for your science work that which you are going to continue from today onwards. We have a very important piece of information which we have to be very, very carefully look into. That is, how are you sure that what you are referring is not fake? Kshama has told how to find the resource, but you have to be sure that what you are seeing is not fake. And before we learn how to fight the fake news and other things, it is the best time to have a coffee break. So all of us will have a coffee break, come back, and this is not fake. This is really, they are going to serve you coffee. Take it.
लास्ट टाइम उसको चेक किया वैसे नहीं हो रहा इधर तो ये होना ये डुप्लीकेट स्क्रीन का डुप्लीकेट नहीं वो एक्सटेंड किया है हाँ हाँ एक्सटेंड नहीं तो एक्सटेंड है ना ये तक नहीं है ना इसमें है ना Good morning, everyone. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Arguably, one of the biggest challenges that societies face in this day and age is the rapid spread of propaganda. That's facilitated by social media and communication platforms. Take a look at this slide. इधर लीजिए वो ऐसे करेंगे नहीं वो प्रिंटर करें कौन होता है क्या है यार इसमें किधर रखना है ये फर्स्ट स्लाइड ओके दूसरा कुछ नहीं ना दूसरा कुछ नहीं है मैं सब निकाल दो मेरे एक सब ನನಗೆ ನೋಟ್ಸ್ ಬೇಕಿತ್ತು, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಸಿಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ.
ಅದೇ ಬರ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಅದು.
stop the music from here? Well, friends, I could hear somebody coughing. That means they have enjoyed the fried stuff extremely well today with the coffee. Good. Shall we start the presentation? I don't want to introduce the present person who is going to talk to you, because all of you are in a better position to introduce him to me. Okay? He is a great source of inspiration for all of us, including me. He is doing his research, as already other people have informed us, his PhD, and more than else, he is a Fulbright scholar, and he is going to America for his further research and other things. He would also like to go for be in the field of communication and continue his research work in physics. Altaf is a wonderful person, and he is going to tell us about the nuisance of the fake news and how to identify and how to filter and get benefit of not using a fake news. Kindly come.
Check. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Oh, I see my friends. Hi. Okay, yeah, these two fellas, Nikhil Vaikar and Nikhil Kanta. I didn't expect you. Thank you for coming. Okay, so first of all, I am a research scholar in physics. I am no journalist. And I am just trying to listen to people like G.V. Aruna sir and all the other eminent speakers today, as well as yesterday, and try to see where I fit in this arena of science journalism or science communication in general. So why do I want to do it? As all the scientists who have been good communicators, one such person is Carl Sagan, and I also believe, like all of you, that if we teach only the findings and products of science, no matter how useful and even inspiring they may be, inspiring technologies or all the products of science and technology, without communicating the rigor, the method, the rationale that goes behind it, it is useless. Okay, how can an average person, how can the society distinguish between science and non-science, right? So that's my motivation for today's talk, and today's talk is about fake news. I put Trump there because from the time he used the word fake news in 2016, that kind of became a trademark. The word was there, but it got global, mouth after Trump. Okay, so we'll see. That's not Trump. Okay, this is Trump. Okay, we'll see what is fake news and what nuisance it can make. Okay, the first slide. Just try to look at the number and try to make sense of it. This is what happens every minute of a day on internet. Try to look at this number. Facebook, people share 240,000 photos every minute, and 44 million people view Facebook Live every minute. YouTube streams 694,000 hours every minute, right? Netflix, all the binge watchers make it 452,000 hours, right? And I was surprised at this. I thought Zoom hosts more than Teams, but Zoom is just 856 minutes of webinar, and Teams make almost 100,000 users, right? So the moral is that data never, can I get that person out? Asif? Okay, the moral is that the data never sleeps, even you are asleep. Okay? We are viewing, using, and creating information at an unprecedented rate, and mostly the way we do it is insecure. So that's a topic for a different conversation, right? And the amount of data in the world is doubling every year. I got this extract from one of the research article from there's a place where you see all the statistics. It's called Statable. Okay, if you want to see any kind of statistical data, just go to this website. Right. So with this kind of a preamble, let us see what is fake news. Okay, and I don't need to teach you what is fake news. I will just give you some examples. So first example, where does fake news start? It starts in our backyard. All our aunties and moms and chachis and nannies, all of us, how do they get information about what's happening in the neighborhood? Okay, whose son is doing or not doing what? Whose daughter is going or not going with whom? All the news starts there. We know this. Okay, and not only women, men. We have a peculiar way of doing this. Okay, men gather around, especially on weekends, or say if there are festivals, they gather around and play cards or have a sip of whiskey or something. And what's the topic to discuss? Either Rahul Gandhi or Modi, or the news that's happening in their surroundings. Okay, and you see people of all ages there. There is one young person who is trying to be a part of this group and trying to understand what's happening. Probably that's me when I was young, and I would see these kind of gatherings in our streets, in my area, trying to be a part of the news that's being spread there, because that's how I used to get updated in the sense, what are people doing in my surroundings. And we would pass this information in our house, and that would become a topic of debate. So fake news is not new to us, but only the methods that news is being circulated is new. And I have an example for that also. So that's my chacha or my chikappa, one of the far relative. What he says is, okay, I'll hide that. What he says that if you love Allah, God send his 99 names to 11 Muslims, your biggest problem will be solved, inshallah. Me being typical in my family group, I asked, what if I don't love Allah? Okay, so it doesn't stop there. I mean, he doesn't stop sending all those. He will just try to defend, saying, "Aap chahe Allah se pyar karo ya na karo, Allah aap se pyar karega." Okay, so this goes on, and another one. So this is a lecturer here. This is a lecturer of commerce of National College, Jayanagar. I saw her status in the morning. It was baffling. Okay, so love jihad in Bangalore, and she is trying to save Hindu girls from Muslim guys, or vice versa. And the message is clear, share it maximum, right? And one of my uncle again, he wishes me on every Independence Day with the same message that few minutes ago, our national anthem Jana Gana Mana is declared as the best anthem of the world by UNESCO. I don't know why UNESCO announces it every year. Okay? So, and how could forwards stop without mom forwarding me something? Okay, it's genuine, okay? My mom had forwarded this message about coronavirus when it just started. Now, to be frank, she does not know what the message is telling about because it's a little technical, and I know her level of understanding English. But the message is everyone wants to forward something. And even this message says, please share if you care for human life. Right? So, this is what is happening. We are, I don't know why, but very motivated to share information. And okay, I want you guys to reflect for a minute and just think about the examples that I gave and try to introspect in your life or in your WhatsApp chat or wherever you are connected with people. Don't you see a tendency of something that's fake? You already know it, but people are still forwarding it to you. You still get to see it in various platforms, right? Based on that, okay, fake news is everywhere, let that sink in. Based on that, let us have a group activity, right? Let's work as a group and try to brainstorm what you understand by the word fake news. And let's try to create a definition. So it's open for all of you guys. I don't want to give you Wikipedia or dictionary definitions. Let's try to define it ourselves. Anyone? ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು ಪರವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ. Yes. Pseudo? ಸುಳ್ಳು ಸುದ್ದಿ ಹರಡುವುದು. Okay. Circulating false. Right? Anything else? Rumors. Any more words? Gossips. Very good. Fake news are false news, they are rumors, they are gossips, and unnecessary activities. But people make a lot of money circulating fake news. Okay? It's necessary for the living, but it's unnecessary, I agree. Very good. Articulation without basis or without source or a reference, right? I think that definition is pretty much what I had to say. Any source of information that is not rooted in truth or fact, a story that is written to distort facts and promote the bias on one side, right? False information created by accident or design that is interpreted as truth and spreads rapidly via the internet. Unverified facts and biased positions, right? Non-factual informations and fake news is a way to indicate what the phrase's user thinks is a negative propaganda towards themselves or their beliefs. This is a Trump case, okay? He thought that all the fake news, all the news that's reporting on him is trying to put him down. Okay? So, we would want to declare something fake just because it contradicts our belief. Right? So, actual news can also be a fake news by the definition of the person who is perceiving it. Right? So, it looks very simple, but it's a complicated subject. That's what I learned when I was trying to prepare this presentation. Okay? So, with all the fake news comes people who create fake news. Let's see the statistics. Trump has these many followers, 37% of them are fake. Our Prime Minister has 60% of following by fake accounts, right? Pope Francis and King Salman and Neto and all of these people, these are some figures, and I concluded that powerful people make Twitter profiles powerful, right? So it's all about these numbers that make them powerful, that make them trending. Okay, so this must also be thought of. It's not some of my friend who wants to become famous is trying to send out a news. Okay, all of this is motivated, it's biased by a political party or by culture or whatnot, right? And finally, the thing about fake news is, it was said by Abraham Lincoln, okay? He says, don't believe everything you read on internet just because there is a picture with a quote next to it. Okay, that was cheap gimmick, okay? Next, let's try to understand what are the types of misinformation or disinformation and what nuisance it can create. You must know that there is a definition of fake news by UNESCO's handbook. It says, news that is deliberately created with the intention of targeting and causing harm to a social group, an organization, a person, usually a politician, okay, or a country, is described as disinformation. And what's misinformation? It says that the other being the simple misinformation that wasn't created for purpose of causing harm. Can you give an example of the second one, if you can think of, because I couldn't come up with anything. Misinformation, something that was not created for purpose of causing harm. Can misinformation be misinterpretation? What do we do in satire comedy? Yeah. But how do we judge the intent of the person who makes it?
Maybe they're just boasting.
Boasting is again misinformation.
Tomorrow is the last day for getting admission in the natural college.
Correct. That happens every day. That happens every day. That's intentional.
Saying that your national anthem is the best national anthem in the world is not harming anyone.
It is misinformation. Okay. But where do you put self-boasting, or how do you categorize it? Is it evil or not evil?
It is very common.
It's very common. Okay.
So it gives more confidence to the people who want to use it for evil.
Mm-hmm.
Misinformation could be something as simple as misinterpreting data. Regular statistics.
Okay.
So that could also count as misinformation.
Okay, it's a genuine mistake, you mean? Okay.
Misrepresentation could be not representing some of the data.
Right. So that is deliberately done. That's what we are doing, right? Trying to declare openly that, India has achieved everything. Okay, that kind of gives you shelter nowhere. It's like,
But that, that helps politics, right? People who don't understand politics think the country is doing perfect under whatever government.
exactly.
Politics is directed to vote banks, so that's their intention.
Exactly. Right. So that's disinformation. And that's a very good point. I was confused where to put nationalism. Okay. Forget patriotism. Where to to put nationalism, the kind of nationalism that we are exposed to today, right? So obviously it's misrepresentation, it is deliberately done, and it harms the actual essence of the place or the culture that we represent. Okay, good. Right, this is for journalism students. I don't know whether your textbooks caters this, but this is a good slide that I got. There are broad types of misinformation or disinformation. There are 7 types, they say. One is false connection, when there is a headline and the visual that do not support each other, or when there is a headline and a visual or a caption that does not support the content. You see this every day on newspaper. The headlines is something, it provokes you to read, right? But it does not deliver or does not mean what it was supposed to mean. We always fall prey for this, false connection. There is a false context, when genuine content is shared with false contextual information. If you want to sell an idea, or if you want to give emphasis on something, you try to make up stories. The context breaks at that point. That also is misrepresentation, it is fake news. Okay? Irrespective of what the content is, how good it is, but if you're not keeping it in the context, it's wrong. Manipulated content. Now, typical example of Rahul Gandhi, right? He says that, I saw one of the clip, he said, इस देश के युवा हिंदुस्तान को नहीं देश को भी आगे बढ़ाएंगे. Right? He said हिंदुस्तान के युवा देश को ही नहीं हिंदुस्तान को भी आगे बढ़ाएंगे. Okay, that's a 6-second clip that was very viral. Okay, and not only that, there is Sidramaya also here. Congress sarkarana kittogibeku anta ankondidivi. That was what he said. Okay, but that clip, okay, gets a huge audience. Although the person who says it corrects it in the very next second. Okay, so you are trying to manipulate his thoughts, and that's, I think that's one of the biggest influencer in our previous election. Right? The next, satire or parody. There is no intention to cause harm, but has potential to fool. Right? There is misleading content, there is imposter content, there is fabricated content. Right? What Nagesh Hegde sir was talking about. There's fabricated contents a lot. Did that go through? Shall I go forward? Okay. Now let's see some typical characteristics of fake news. It may be a propaganda. It may be a clickbait. How many of you know what's a clickbait? Most of you? Okay. So it can be a sponsored content. Like yesterday some speaker was talking about Patanjali also. Right? So they sponsor health-based ads. Okay. And not only them, the news is sponsored by people who want their ads to be run. Okay, and the news that the anchor says that there is, since it is sponsored, it is biased. It is a propaganda, right? And there is satire or there is hoax. There might be error also. There might be conspiracy theories that Neil Armstrong did never land on moon. Okay, and conspiracy theories like aliens and I don't know what, I forgot them. Misinformation, bogus, foxotrophy, then deep fakes is something we have to discuss. There is cloaking, there is sensational headlines. Again, Nagesh Hegde sir showed us some examples. Twisted statistics, okay, and most important is pseudoscience, right? I have tried to cover something about pseudoscience. Let's see. Okay, next. Yeah, this is one tweet that was very viral. This is what happens when a government believes people are illegal. This was to, this was to condemn the migration. Probably a case of America, is it? Yeah. Okay, US. Right, kids in cage. Okay. Sometimes the picture is real but mislabeled, like this. That's the same boy outside the cage. This was at a protest against immigration policies this year. Right? So, just the twist in angle of camera and with a caption, you can change the sensation of politics. We all have that power. I mean, journalists have that power. That's what yesterday Manasi was telling. Fake news used to look like this in US. Science fake news. Okay? So, female space alien accuses President Clinton of sexual misconduct. And there was this, Hillary Clinton adopts an alien baby. So, easily, if we see today, we'll say it's hoax, it's pretty not obvious, but most people at that time believed it. Right? There are people who still believe the flat earth theory. Probably they are more in number than the other group. Okay? So, now how does fake news look today? How advanced are we? This is where this slide comes in.
We're entering an era in which our enemies can make it look like anyone is saying anything at any point in time.
Jordan Peele created this fake video of President Obama to demonstrate how easy it is to put words in someone else's mouth.
Moving forward, we need to be more vigilant with what we trust from the internet.
Not everyone bought it, but the technology behind such frauds is rapidly improving, even as worries increase about their potential for harm. This is your Bloomberg Quick Take on deepfakes. Deepfakes, or realistic-looking fake videos and audio, gained popularity as a means of adding famous actresses into porn scenes. Despite bans on major websites, they remain easy to make and find. They're named for the deep learning artificial intelligence algorithms that make them possible. Input real audio or video of a specific person, the more the better, and the software tries to recognize patterns in speech and movement. Introduce a new element like someone else's face or voice, and a deepfake is born.
It's actually extremely easy to make one of these things. There were just some supposed, breakthroughs from academic researchers who work with this particular kind of machine learning in the past few weeks, which would drastically reduce the amount of video you need actually to create one of these.
Programs like FakeApp, the most popular and widely available for making deepfakes, need dozens of hours of human assistance to create a video that looks like this, rather than this. In August, researchers at Carnegie Mellon revealed software that accurately rendered not just facial features, but changing weather patterns and flowers in bloom. This advance is not yet available to the public. But with increasing capability comes increasing concern.
This is kind of fake news on steroids, potentially. We do not know of a case yet where someone has tried to use this to perpetrate a kind of fraud or an information warfare campaign, or for that matter, to really damage someone's reputation. But it's the danger that everyone is really afraid of.
In a world where fakes are easy to create, authenticity also becomes easier to deny. People caught doing genuinely objectionable things could claim evidence against them is bogus. Fake videos can also be difficult to detect, though researchers around the world and at the US Department of Defense have said they're working on ways to counter them. Deep fakes do, however, have some positive uses. Take Cereproc, a firm that creates digital voices for people who lose theirs from disease.
Speech synthesis is the artificial production of human speech.
There are also applications that could be considered either good or bad, like the many, many deepfakes that exist solely to turn as many movies as possible into Nicolas Cage movies.
Oh, hi, Mark.
Okay, that's where fake news has evolved, and yesterday one of my friend Uday was trying to download this app and trying to make a fake video of mine with a politician that matches me, probably Barack Obama, I don't know, but so the point is, with increasing technology, not only good journalism is evolving, the dark journalism is ripening more fruits than the good journalism, right? And that's dangerous. Now, let's see what fake news has to do with science. Actually, it starts with science. We all know the typical example of COVID, the cow dung slurry bath and whatnot, right? Since all the examples were taken, I thought let's try to see if there is a literature regarding fake news in science. Now, this paper was published in Nature in the month of November 2021, and it was published by a Russian journalist. And I like this one: falsehood flies, but truth comes limping after it, right? So, I mean, I recommend you all to read this paper. This is a very well drafted single author paper, which is rare. Okay, this is a literature review of close to 100 papers. If someone wants to make your assignment for tomorrow, this is one subject. You just have to read this 5 or 6 long page review article, and you will get a lot of data. The data that will take you at least 2 or 3 months to gather. This is a review article, okay, literature review article, right? So, this kind of statistics you may not get everywhere, but it was, I mean, it was very well analyzed and very well drafted, very good comparison over here. You see this number of people, a number of internet users are close to 4.6 billion, while the population is just what, 6 billion on Earth. So 4.6 billion people are internet users, while 4.2 billion people of them use social media networks, right? And look at this, 59.5% of world's population are internet users. Out of them, 53.6 people use, half of them are on social network, are active on social network, okay? And the annual number of increase in internet users is 7.3%, whereas people going towards social media engagement are more, 13.2%, right? And look at this, use of mobile devices for daily use of internet is 92.6%, and 98.8% of that is used on social media. That much internet is consumed for social media. Why do I say this? I want to emphasize on this. This is a chart of world's most popular social networking and messenger apps. Okay, these are figures of millions of people. Facebook still tops, even though most of us have stopped using it by the raise of hands that we saw in last lecture. 2,740 million people are on Facebook, and almost the same number for YouTube and WhatsApp. Facebook Messenger and Instagram are racing with each other. So the reason I got this slide is I was reminded of my previous speakers saying that we have to concentrate on science writing, right? Writing in vernacular, writing in different media, right? Or getting engaged in different media, like All India Radio or television, news channel programs, and all of this. Yes, I completely agree. They cater to a lot of people, right? They cater to the local people as well as people spread across the globe. But the actual culprit is here, right? We see these many people are influenced by social networking sites, or what I call them as new generation communication sources, right? And where do people usually get their sources for science news? Professionals get it from journals, scientific database, and specialized science portals, blogs, and forums. But where does other people get it? Usually news agencies, but mostly social networks. We saw that number. So I believe if you want to stop fake news as a whole, globally, you have to emphasize on making contents that are on modern media environment. Okay, you need to make a lot of content that are engaging and reliable and informative. Right? Social media guys have, needs all of your efforts and your support, so that this whole problem of fake news, especially in science, can be tackled well. Right? I also feel, oh, by the way, this is what the author concludes, right? But I also feel that the fake news can also come from scientific community, because I represent that community, right? There are manipulated results. You can't avoid it. There was a video by the person who runs this channel, Veritasium. Okay, there's a channel called Veritasium, and the person who runs the channel, he wrote to world-known biologists, the very well-known biologists and technical people that he knew. He asked them deliberately to write something false. And these are the people whose name is enough to get a publication in a very good journal. So watch that video. He shows how, say if I am a reputed person in solar cells, if at all, if I write something, if I write some fake results, and if I send it out to the publication house, it gets published. Although it is peer reviewed, okay, there is some influence of the name of the institution that you are writing from. You can't deny it, but there is. Fake news can also come from there. I know this is a last resort for people like us, the scientific community, but there are loopholes there as well. Right? Next, what can you do about it? One does not simply share the news articles without fact checking first. As simple as that. And how do you do it? You have to create a habit. These are 4 moves. First, you have to check for the previous work, that is fact checking. My previous speaker spoke about a lot of websites that can help you check facts. There is Wikipedia. If you are taking notes from Wikipedia, please go to the reference. Please go to footnote and see where are they citing it from. Are they citing it from another Wikipedia page which links you to another Wikipedia page which was created by the same person? That's also possible, right? And also, go upstream to the source. Find the original source and evaluate it. Watch for sponsored content, right? And yeah, this is important for image checking. Now, read laterally. What are other sources trying to say you? Okay, and then you have to circle back what you feel is not right there. Okay, and then we repeat this again and again. I think this is a chart that you will get on internet. Please have it as your desk chart if you're doing some real journalism. Okay, never forget this. Okay, so it's fact finders, find the authority, check details, and try it again. Unless you are convinced, never proceed, never publish. I have some closing thoughts. These are some fact checking resources. Kindly take a snap of this. I have deleted some of the website that the previous speakers mentioned. Okay, and these are some tools that you can use. You can use Rate My Source tool. Okay, and there is one more that I did not mention here, Turnitin, where you write an article and you submit it to the website and see how much you have plagiarized, how much you have copied from the previous source. It's okay to take references, but not word by word. You have to rephrase this. You have to put your inputs, as well as give authority or the credit to the person who has actually written it. Okay? So these are some of these websites, including Turnitin. Right? I think in the given time, that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Altaf.
Thank you, sir.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
I think all of us must give him a big round of applause. Thank you very much. And it was
I'll be here, sir. You can.
last session was two speakers, quite interesting talk was there. Lot of input information has come to you for you to be a very good journalist and a science journalist at that. So I have gone through the lectures of yesterday and today, and I have certain additional information which I would like to pass it on to you so that it is going to be helpful. Basically, if you look at research, there will be two types of research you can say. One is science, and what the scientist does, he will communicate to you. That is one thing. And secondly, as reporters, as journalists, you read the basic information given, try to pass it on to common man. That is what we have heard. But for this, you have to go through and do literature review, although all of us have understood that. But when you have started writing on science or scientists, two things you have to keep it in mind. First is, please respect the scientist behind that particular information you are going to publish. You have to respect. From your heart, you have to respect him. You have to honor him, because plenty of work has gone in whatever the research that the person would have done. You are only going to get some information from that and write something and pass it on. So if you don't respect the scientist who has years of research he has done, you will not be able to do any good for whatever your writing is. Secondly, you must also respect the science, because science is going to help all of us in the long run. That is one thing which you have to respect. And most importantly, as I know many of you are not science background, you are not having much science background, but if you are able to influence an youngster or a parent to see his child becomes a scientist of tomorrow, you have done a wonderful job. You write something, after reading that, the person, the youngster or his parents, ask the child, please become a scientist, concentrate on this. Why don't you go for, take up research work? So that means you have completed and won in scientific journalism. Yesterday we have seen a video of a lift where 4 persons standing and that you have gone through. I will take the lift. Basically, I am not a scientist. I am an engineer, and more than that, I am a management person. But I have made use of science for the purpose of uplifting certain areas of work wherever I have done. One of them is, I was a part of the creation of GSLV launch pad, from where ISRO is launching the pad. That particular thing, as Indian team, we built it from scratch. We did not have anything. We have built it. Secondly, I was involved in number of discussions with scientific community under CSIR labs. CSIR stands for Council of Scientific and Industrial Research. In Bangalore, we have National Aerospace Laboratory. At Goa, we have National Institute of Oceanography. At Hyderabad, we have National Geophysical Research Institute. Chennai, we have 2-3 laboratories. In Dhanbad, we have Metallurgical Research Institute. And at Kalbagam, we have Indira Gandhi Center for Atomic Research. Like that, many of these scientific organizations, I was personally involved. A number of years, I was working with certain scientists for various activities. So I know how the scientific activities take place. That's how, though with my engineering background, I developed interest for science. Engineering is nothing but applied science in a very simple way, if you say. What else can be applied? So, if you go to medical field, for coronavirus, they found what did they find? All of us were given vaccine. Vaccine was found by a certain scientist. But converting that into the medicine that has to be administered on human being is a activity of technology. Serum Institute, Bharat Tech, etc. They had the technology, they used it to create this. So there is a very close link between science and the technology. Have you seen any factory? All of you have seen some factory? So how big a factory can be? Can somebody say, what can be the length of a factory? Some wild guess. I want some answer. Any workshop or any plant or anything you have seen? Huh? We have designed, I was head of the team, designed, length of the factory building was 1.2 kilometers. 1.2 kilometers is the length of the building. It is in India, at Bhilai, for making steel plates of 32 millimeter thickness. Why such a long distance building is required is, when you roll a plate of 32 millimeters, it will be this much thick. That particular plate will be red hot. That red hot, if you keep one plate over the other, because of the weight, they get welded. Heat welding, weight welding takes place. If you want it as a plate itself, it has to be cooled. Cooling takes time. So after rolling, that particular thing has to go to the end of the shop, comes back. It is known as a cooling range. For that, the building has to be 1.25 kilometers long, and it should be moving. It cannot be stationary. There will be rollers, and the plate will be moving up and down till it cools down. Such things are possible. Why I am telling this is, as a science writer, you must understand that these things also will be there. Moment you start writing with headline, I have visited a factory of 1.2 kilometer long, people will be interested to read what it is. It is there in our own country, why it is being done, and such thick plates are required for manufacture of tanks. You know, tank means that army tanks, what we say. For that, such plates are required. For so many other things also, it is required. So, when these things merge with science, technology merges with science, plenty of other information as science journalists or science writers, you will have to add in your write-up so that it will become more interesting and people will get more information of what is happening in the country, what scientists are doing, what the technologies are doing, and what else is required. For this, you have to understand the technology portion also. I will come back to the lift, what we talked yesterday. All of you have seen a lift. Lift has a front door, it opens and closes, and all other three sides, there is a structure, through which lift, the cage moves up and comes. There are guides on all the three sides. you might have heard this anecdote, I'm not sure. One of the big hotels in America, they wanted to have a lift. It was one of the very old buildings. They wanted to have a lift. And the designer and all that they visited, they found inside the particular hotel, there was not a single inch of place available for them to put that lift. But that required, they were discussing 2 days, 3 days, nothing could happen. Finally, one bearer, he was taking coffee to somebody, came and asked, all that last 3 days I find that you people are struggling here, what are you doing? And somebody told, no, we want to put a lift here, we are trying to find a place. And he said, why? Outside the hotel, by the side of the portico, there's plenty of space. All of them started laughing. For lift, you must have structure with 3 sides, and front side should be open, and how it's possible. But the chief designer said, wait, please come and show what you're telling, where we can put. That bearer took him and said, he said, okay, give me 2 days time and come. The designer designed a new lift. Today, it is known as capsule lift. Have you seen the capsule lift? The capsule lift, how it happened, just because a bearer told that it can be put outside. This anecdote I am telling to you, your writing is possible for you to create an awareness of some new things which will pave way for new research or new technology development or new facility to be provided to the public. This is one thing. As far as the fake news was there, I will try to give you one anecdote. In America, you know, Red Indians were the original people who were there. They had certain information passed on from generation to generation that old people in the Red Indians, they were able to gauge what is happening in the weather, and they will tell this year it is going to snow very heavily. This year it is going to be moderate. And this year there is not much snowing. So accordingly, other people used to cut the trees, stack it, so that in the deep winter, they will burn that and they will be happy. They will not have any problem. Once what happens, once a weather reporter who was very near to the Red Indian colony, he saw these people started cutting the trees. Next day, his weather bulletin was, this year it is going to be moderate to heavy snowfall. Next day he saw they started cutting much more vigorously the trees. Then he said, this year it is going to be very, very rigorous, because he knew the Red Indians had some information which he was not able to understand, and whatever they had done earlier, everything had come through. And because he told, they started much more vigorously cutting the trees. He was wondering how these people are getting the information, I must know. He talked to a person, a Red Indian. So why you are cutting, who is giving you this information? The person said, no, my chief last year died. His son is Harvard educated. He has come back and he is giving instructions to us. And he said, very good. With earlier people, they never wanted to pass on the information. If a person is Harvard educated, he will definitely talk to me. He went and talked to him. He said, yes, very good. I said, you are started cutting the trees, so on, etc. Can you tell me what is the technology you are utilizing so that others can use it? Yes, very clearly. He took out a transistor from his pocket and showed, this is the technology. He said, what is this? I listen to the news bulletin of weather bulletin every day. Yesterday, the gentleman told it's going to be very, very rigorous snowfall. So I asked him to cut more trees. But whereas the weatherman was trying to copy him. So this is a sort of a fake news, misinformed, but unfortunately not connected between the two. They did not have relied upon the correct information, and that's what it happened. And writing is one part. All of you must start reading. The information given to me when I started writing was, if you want to write one page, you have to read at least 25 pages. And when you start writing, there is one very, very important thing is there. That is, you must have a human face for the whole thing. It should not be troubling anybody, or you should not belittle any person. So, if you write wrongly, what happens is, if you have read Arthur Miller, there's an English writer, he has written a drama by name All My Sons. Its story also is available, online it's available. Please read All My Sons. It will tell you how people will suffer because my intention is wrong. These things you please keep it in mind. When you write, you should not trouble anybody. For writing, lot of reading is necessary. And secondly, most important thing is, from tomorrow morning, all of you take a oath, write at least 300 to 500 words of article for next 1 year. That is your assignment on anything. Anything you take, it may be science or anything. Simple thing I will tell you. You know lime, lemon, you see? There's lemon, small thing. Similarly, you have an orange. That's also of the same family. You have a Mosambik. You also have a grapefruit. They call it as, what do they call it? Chakota, you know, chakota. It's a big. Size small to see. All of them are citrus. Why the difference is there? Why the color is different? First thing. Second thing is, you ask elders in your family, if I want to take Mosambik for getting the juice, what should be the texture of the Mosambik outside? It is a science again. If you want only the tole inside, you cut and is easily peel. What should be the color and texture of the Mosambik outside? These things, if you are able to write for 1 year, just do nothing. All other things you do, write and keep it. After 1 month, reread it. It has been told also, and try to revise your article. If you are able to write 365 articles in next 1 year on any topic, revise it after every month and rewrite it, in next 1.5 years, you will be excellent writers, journalists, and if you write on scientific topic, you are going to be a scientific writer and scientific journalist. With these words, I would wish you all the best, and thank you very much. I also thank, yes, sir. You want to have, yeah, some questions for Mr.
Hello.
Since we were talking about clickbaits and exaggerated headlines, for-profit news channels and especially the online portals, they make money off of advertisements. So how would you expect them to navigate through the financial constraint here?
Right, okay. There are a few channels which set examples. I mean, news channel like NDTV, okay? That's one of the best example that I can give you. They have sustained their financial model and still tried to remain unbiased. Okay, the anchors and the reporters questioned the same way to the previous government, and their approach for the current government is same. I think some people are out there who are setting examples. Okay, and there are also independent journalism channels that are coming out. You can see Scroll, you can see Print. Okay, they all see, everyone is for profit, right? Everyone needs profit to grow and to sustain. Finances of a media industry is not my forte, but I can say that they need profit to survive. But there are some of these channels and they have found their way. You always need not take the shortcut, which probably is very evident that is not ethical, right? I think that's the way out.
In extension to that, if I may, a lot of these news channels are owned by conglomerates.
Owned by?
Conglomerates. I mean,
conglomerates, yeah.
Multinational companies. And you have, it's either that, in the case of NDTV, it's a for-profit channel, or it's an NGO like Scroll.in or Wire.in, which entirely depends on donations. And if not that, it's...
Is it NGO? I'm not sure. Scroll and Print?
They are entirely, I mean, yeah, they are entirely...
Everything is an NGO. Right. How do you define an NGO?
It's a non-profit organization, to be very...
Non-profit organization.
So if not that, it's government-driven. So it's either the agenda of the government or the agenda of the conglomerates or the agenda of the donors here. So how would we navigate ourselves with misinformation here?
Okay.
Because that was in extension to what you're talking about with NDTV.
Correct. I agree. So I had the same problem in choosing my sources of information, right? The way I did it is I gave it a try to everything that is popular and things that are not popular as well. You know, something within you can drive you towards a source which has a neutral sensation, right? I think that will come when you have seen what crap is out there, as well as good journalism out there. I think it's an individual's rational can, you know, lead you to choose sources which are authentic and which are reliable. That's how I chose Print, for example, right? But there are all other, there are hundreds of channels just like Print, which have models just like what Print or Scroll runs. But the kind of news that they carry and the kind of emotion that they put into the news is what made me decide. For example, I was trying to browse through some of the anchors who read news in the era of Doordarshan, when there was just Doordarshan for news and there was just radio for news. That news, the way the anchor presented the news was with almost zero emotion. His role was just to read out information. Even if it was assassination of Rajiv Gandhi or Indira Gandhi, right? The news was just read without even facial expression, even no change of intonations, right? But today it's not like that. I kept that factor for my choice, right? I compare who is this, Rajesh Sharma, who reads news in Print. I don't know, he does an editorial. I see his way of presenting same news, and I see Arnab Goswami. Okay, you can see a striking contrast. So it is an individual's choice, but my way of doing it was trying to take the fundamentals, like your job is to present news, okay, and not put your reflection onto it.
So would that mean ethical reporting is entirely the responsibility of the reporters, the journalists?
it is the responsibility of journalist. Like if you were here for the first address, that's keynote address by Bhaskar Rao, he mentioned an incident where he did not want to report an astrology, he did not want to run an astrology report, but his
Interview of an astrologer.
Yes, interview of an astrologer, right? But the management was such that he was forced to do it. But it is the integrity of the person working in an organization whether to do the work just for the sake of job, or let it go and start something new. And in this era, I think if you leave that place, if your integrity is at stake, you can start new. There are a lot of opportunities. NDTV shoots all of their programs, even their prime time, with just Samsung S8. It has become that cheap as well.
In that case, why would the responsibility of fact checking fall onto the users? So if by nature, fundamentally, if the reporters are reporting ethically, it would not really fall on the reader to fact check on Wikipedia once he reads through probably say a Hindu newspaper, the Hindu newspaper, and then fact check Wikipedia with other sources.
No, my context was for people who are reporting.
Okay.
Not for the readers.
Okay.
Right? Readers, obviously, I mean, reporters are readers, as sir said. They have to read. But it must be a general habit. What's wrong in it?
But would it be a feasible habit?
I would like to cut short here. The reason is you are a participant of this particular workshop. You are from which college you are from?
Bangalore University.
Huh?
Bangalore University.
The reason is that you would like to spend more time for preparation for tomorrow's presentation.
Yes.
In that case, would you talk to him independently and get this information? Because I find that others are not very interested in this particular thing.
Okay, I don't have.
I'll speak with you.
Yeah, sure.
They would like to get more time for this one, etc. Sorry for this one. Wonderful.
No
But
problem.
you have to get the information. He will definitely answer you independently.
Sure.
Yes, others will have some more time for preparation of this. Otherwise, if you have prepared, and this is a good tactic of keeping others. Nothing. I'm not. Sorry.
No problem, sir. I think that was it.
I think
All others agree with me? Yes. Okay.
I think you all have got to know about the resources for science communication and also the how to get through fake news or fake science reporting. So by these two sessions, and I also thank both the speakers of these two sessions, Mr. Altaf and also Kshama V. Bhanuprakash. And we have G.V. Aruna sir, who chaired this session and beautifully gave his valuable inputs and insights. The last few minutes was very informative, sir. ಹೇಗೆ ಯಾವ ಇದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನೀವು ಮಾತಾಡಿದ್ದು ಅದು ತುಂಬ ಇಷ್ಟ ಆಯಿತು. ಹಾಗೆ ಐ ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ Thank you for chairing this session, sir. Thank you, everybody. So I'll pass this session to discussion for the preparation for tomorrow's competitions. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Wish you all the best for tomorrow.